Hey, friends. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. All good. I got a good show for you today. I don't know how many of you may have heard of Phillip Corso. Anyway, he wrote the book The Day After Roswell. And basically, he made some explosive claims in that book. It was written in 1997. I believe a senator, man, even came out and did he was like part of the introduction, or and he spoke really well and highly of Phillip Corso, that he knew him, that he worked in the Pentagon and whatnot. So anyway, the book was explosive at the time, and it's still one of the. It's like, I believe it's been on the bestseller list a few different times because it still maintains its popularity, because it still resonates with people. And the crazy thing is that Phillip Corso died in 1998. He was old, And the thing about Phillip Corso is he was one of many. He was one of many people who came out later in life, like when they're getting ready to die. Kind of similar to like Harry Reid, how he did. He came out and he said on the phenomenon of James Fox, when James said, is it, can I basically, take it that we've only seen a small piece of the evidence and stuff that's out there about UFOs? And he said, you guys haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg. That there's so much evidence out there that I think it would blow a lot of people's minds. I think that it would be like a like a whole paradigm shifting, where your whole outlook on life would become, you'd probably lose some sleep. A lot of, maybe not us, the people watching this show, because I believe that most of us, we know what's going on, and we've pretty much thought about what this means, what it is, what we're dealing with. And I think a lot of the people that watch this show understand the nature of this thing, or have a good idea. Not understand the nature of it, because I believe it's a couple different things going on with this phenomenon. But I feel like it's there's a spiritual aspect. I feel like it's related to death in a way, which is not like in a bad way, but because I think it's like an ultra dimensional thing, and I believe that these things have been here probably for thousands of years, and I think they've probably been steering mankind. I also believe that there's probably some that walk among us. I believe that they probably do look like us. It's fascinating. But anyway, Phillip Corso. So let me break this down, right? So Phillip Corso, he worked in the Pentagon, and he worked in something called the Foreign Technology Division. So you hear like Foreign Technology Division, you think, oh yeah. So it's like probably like spying on Russia or whatever and studying their technology. No. Foreign Foreign is food, like off-world type shit. That's the foreign when it comes to Foreign Technology Division. And I want you to just think, right? Just think, since 1947. Okay, just let's go back to the 40s, right? I'm older, so I don't remember the 40s, but I remember what the 40s looked like based on history and TV and stuff. And so, not everybody had a phone in their house. Television was like, people would like sit like after like I think like 8, 9 o'clock, the TV would just be off because there would be nothing on TV. It would just be like, boom, you know what I mean? Like, and like families would sit around the TV at night, like and it was like there probably wasn't too many channels, if any, and not everybody had TV. In some places in America, not everybody had a freaking bathroom. Some people had to go to an outhouse. This is what it was like in the 40s. Not everybody drove cars. You know what I mean? World War II was going on. So that's what it was like in the 40s, right? So from the 40s till now, we've gone from that to this, right? To this, right? I'm recording you on this little tiny camera. I got my computer over here. I got a microphone. I'm broadcasting this to millions. They can leave comments. We got computers. Anything I want to know, I can look it up and read it to you. We got bulletproof vests. We got night vision. We got integrated circuit chips. We got LED lights. We got fiber optics. We got all these technologies. And, there's jets, and you got to think like just the integrated circuit chips. So back in the 40s, a computer, I mean, I think it was the 50s, man, a computer that would just do like little simple calculations, it would fill up a whole entire room and it would get so hot that, they had to have like, cooling vents and shit because it was just too much. And it would only be like counting, so they'd be doing like simple little math problems. What I'm saying. So Phillip Corso worked in the Pentagon, Foreign Technology Division, and he claimed that there was like a secret race between us and the Soviets to back engineer these non-human craft that we were recovering. Roswell being one of them. So this is what Corso claimed. Okay, now he was a lieutenant colonel in the Army. He worked in the Pentagon. All this has been verified, so he's legit, right? So he said these are the technologies that we got from the NHI craft that we recovered. Integrated circuit chips, fiber optics, lasers, super tenacity fibers, which is Kevlar, bulletproof vests, things of that nature. Night vision, right? Particle beam devices, stealth technology, stealth aircraft, accelerated particle beams, psychotronic devices, which if you think about like the Havana syndrome, the thing that the CIA agents were going through and stuff. Psychotronic devices are like being able to project thoughts into people's heads, being able to like mess with like computer code, through these devices. The Strategic Defense Initiative, which was Star Wars, that was all because of these recovered craft. Advancement in space tech, we were able to surpass the Soviets. They had put up Sputnik, and we basically surpassed them. Now we got space stations and stuff. You know what I mean? And then you got like DARPA's Project Pandora. That was also psychotronic stuff. ELF, extremely low frequency. Holographic projections, remote thought transmission. Now that's crazy, right? Remote thought transmission. Why would they have that listed? And I think it was because they interacted with these beings at some point, and these beings transmitted thoughts into people's minds. They were able to communicate with us psychically with no words. So boom, so we started getting into that, and all of a sudden, there's all these secret programs, remote viewing, the Monroe Institute, gateway process with out of body experiences and such, tantric meditation and experimenting with these type of things. And the thing is, like nobody talks about Philip Corso, and it's a great book. It's a great book, man. And he broke it down how they hid this shit in all these programs, and they did it in such a way that nobody could find it because it would be these little innocent programs, innocent named programs, like how Foreign Technology Division is, but it would be other programs, with these little innocent names, and really they're back engineering alien technology. And this was in 1998. This book, 97, 98. This book came out, and I just find it so odd that just now, dude, just now we're getting these whistleblowers coming out. Well, meanwhile, this Corso was the first one, but they were able to keep a kibosh on it. But I think with the advent of computers and the internet, that they can't do that anymore. And these whistleblowers are getting a platform. But what they are doing is they're muddying the water. You get these guys like Jason Sands. Jason Sands popping up. Oh, I was in the 20 and back, and I was on Mars fighting lizard people, and I was taking aliens out on Area 51, and I'd have to go in and, just man, come on, dude. And I'm not saying that there's not things that happen, maybe like that maybe somebody did take out a non-human, being at one point or another. But I don't think they would advertise it. I don't think they would tell anybody. I don't think they're going to tell anybody about the evil deeds they did to keep this secret. So when somebody comes out and they're claiming this stuff, like, it's just it's clickbait. It's definitely clickbait. You know what I'm saying? Definitely clickbait. But dude, you gotta think critically. You know what I mean? But Phillip Corso, man, and I seen an interview that he did, and it was compelling. It was very compelling. Um, Here, check this out.
Project Rainbow. I read the file, interesting, artificial intelligence. What did I do with it? I put it back in the file and forgot it. And yet I had the organization and everything to do something, and I didn't.
Do you remember Project Blue Book?
Sure did. No, yes. Oh, Blue Book, sure.
Yeah. I mean, was that just a complete, what was that?
I'm going to ask you the same thing. What was it? I don't know. I don't even know why they did it. I started to read it one day. I figured I'm wasting my time. I put it as, this is a nothing. What's the matter? Can't they do better than this?
Wouldn't they be relinquishing their power, though, by saying, yes, we recovered something in 50 years, and yes, we've been lying to you for the last 50 years?
Look.
People are going to lose all their trust in the government.
Yeah.
Haven't they?
You answered your own behalf.
No, if you'd come in when I was in the Army and I'd have told you something like this, I wouldn't be relinquishing my power. When I was down here at White Sands, I was the commander. Anything that I said to you wouldn't relinquish my power. I was the authority there. I was the top commander of the area. Already one general told me, Lieutenant General, and we were colonels together. And he's already said, when I had the team investigating the alignment of atoms, this general said bigger than Los Alamos, and I was head of the team, I had German scientists. He said, sure. He said, I know all about that. He said, I was right there in the front of the general's office.
There's quite a few other gentlemen that we
You
know
see
of.
all these acknowledgments?
I'm not going to mention their names because they have to do it on their own.
Well, in the intelligence business, and even newsmen, like you have a code. If somebody tells you something, or you don't reveal their name unless they give you permission to. And that's the code of the newspaper. That was the code of the Army, intelligence. Because if you do, you're out of business. Nobody will talk to you anymore. You see, all these acknowledgments here, I wrote to every one of these military units. Everyone answered me.
Yep. Just wanted to ask you, in summary, because I've basically run over the chain of events which occurred after Roswell to discuss what happened at Roswell.
Yeah.
And of course, why they kept it from the public. Now it's
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go through that story. Now, I wasn't at Roswell in 47. 47, I just come back from Italy. I'd been chief of security intelligence in Rome. And in the intelligence business, I was trained really by the British. I was an MI-19. So when I came back, I went to Fort Riley, Kansas. I was stationed there. It was a veterinarian post, and we still had horses. And I was instructor at the intelligence school, and we had an aggressor force. So one night, I was a post-duty officer. Post-duty officer means that I was in control. For that night, I was the one that checked all the guards, checked all security areas. In fact, checked the whole post. I was the duty officer that night. And I went to the veterinarian section, and a sergeant I knew very well was sergeant of the guard that night. I told him, Sarge, how's everything around here? And he said, fine, sir. I told him, they told me to be careful to watch this area because you have a sense of something sensitive here. He said, you want to see it, sir? I told him, yes, let's go look. And I knew this sergeant, he was a master sergeant. I went back, and there was 5 crates there, like 5 or 6, I think it was 5. I lifted one up, and here's this body there and floating in fluid. And I looked at it about 10, 15 seconds, not much more than that. So I put it back down and I said, Sarge, come on, get out of here now. I don't want to get you in trouble. Because I'm the duty officer, I can go around, walk around here. But you might get in trouble for coming back. Just come on, let's go. Come out with me. So we went out, and I told him, where did it come from, Sarge? He said, well, 5 trucks came through, coming through here from an airfield in New Mexico, and they're heading for Wright-Patterson Air Force. Now, in those days, there weren't all these big roads now. In those days, Route 40 was about the only cross-country route, and the route that they took was Route 40, going through Fort Riley, Kansas, and then up to Wright-Patterson Air Force. And I said, well, stay away from her, Sergeant. I don't want you to get in any trouble. I told him I can walk around and see. So, and I started to figure, what was that? First, I thought it was a child, because it was small. Then I looked at this head and all, right away, and this was only happened in a matter of seconds. Then I put the end back down, and the head was different, the arms were spindly, the body it was gray. So right at that moment, I figured, I don't know what this thing is. So like an intelligence business, I just better put it in the back of my head here and wait till maybe in the future I get corroboration so I can evaluate what it is. So I promptly forgot about it. 10 years later, I was down there, commanded the range in New Mexico, in White Sands, the Army Missile Firing Range, in northern, right near Trinity site, my headquarters was. So my own radar started picking up items going 3,000-4,000 miles an hour in this area. I had pencil beam radars which locked on the target. And the boys told me about 3,000 or 4,000 miles an hour, quick acceleration, they break the lock. And that was one of the best radars we had during the time. So every time that would happen, once I notified our headquarters, they said, oh, forget it, we're not interested. So I figured I won't tell them anything anymore. So every time that would happen, I tell the boys, bring me the tapes. Because all my computers and my firing had a tape which gave the whole firing sequence. And then we could check it after if anything went wrong, see. So I'd tell them, deliver the tapes to me personally. And I'd look them over. And yet what they told me was true. Then I left and went to Germany. And I started picking up the same things in Germany. 3,000-4,000 miles over flying Germany. Again, the pencil beam radar would lock on, and all the ones that would lock would break, because our radars really weren't that good. But they were so powerful that if you came to my area, my flight had to take photographs, and even the German newspapermen used to, I tell them, now gentlemen, you can take all the pictures you want, but if you have flash bulbs in your pocket, please take them out, because the moment I turn the radars on, they'll pop in your pocket. All that energy's in them. So I told them, I don't want anybody to get hurt. So they would do it, and then I told them, once you take them out of your pocket, I can turn the radars on for you, see how they work. So there I started, and information I started to get was that there was something flying in the air. Like I figured, well, maybe these are the flying saucers like the Roswell crash. Later.
I was going to ask you one last thing. If you only had a moment to speak in open congressional hearings to discuss what happened 50 years ago, what would you say?
I say it happened, and I'd add on to that. Give us information to the young people of the world in this country. They want to hear it. They want it. Give it to them. Don't hide it and tell lies and make stories. They're not stupid. They're not young men that'll panic. In fact, my own nephew was a research director of Daco Corporation. He tells me, he says, Uncle Phil, why don't they tell us the truth? We're not going to panic and pull our hair out. And one good example of this, which I always tell, to prove this point, that the young people will want it and they're not going to panic, they want to hear this. And that's one of the reasons I wrote this. Even my own grandchildren now will see it. And I always prove it this way. I commanded a battalion of 1,500 men, combat battalion. Average age of my soldiers was 19 and a half years old. I told my exec one day, my God, Maine, we're sending babies into battle. And these kids, they fought the greatest armies in the world. They didn't run. They didn't panic. They stood there and fought. And why do you think they'll panic? They wanted this information. They deserve it. It's their information. It doesn't belong to the Army or the Department of Defense. It's theirs. If it's classified, take the classification off and give it to them. Now here, there's really nothing here classified.
So what do you think about that? What do we think about that? What do we think about that? I mean, if I was gonna, okay, so I got kids, and eventually I'm gonna have grandkids, and I'm gonna have, I want to leave some type of legacy for them. I want to leave them something, you know, that they can remember me by. Kind of like, I don't know, maybe a legacy or what, you know. And I think Philip Corso, in writing that book, he wanted to leave a memory, and not only that, he wanted to be the one that began the whole disclosure movement, which he was. I mean, he was. He was the first guy. I mean, he was the first real whistleblower, and he's been dead now. What, from '98? What is it? 2025? What is it? 27 years? The man's been dead almost 30 years, and we're still fighting for disclosure. And the evidence has been there for 27 years. The book was on, it was a bestseller. I believe it's really popular right now. And I recommend that book to anybody who wants to get caught up with the whole, reverse engineering, government having these secret programs that are reverse engineering. Anybody that's really interested in finding out how we made the advancements we made in the time that we made them. I mean, my God, dude, just look at how fast we've advanced technologically from 1947 until now. Actually, before that. But Philip Corso was the guy. That was the guy. He was in it. In the beginning of that book, there's all these acknowledgments from all these military people and high up senators and government officials and the high, military organizations. And they all gave him the acknowledgments. Everybody wrote him back. He was who he said he was. So I just say, you look at it as a whole, right? You got Philip Corso. Now we got Lou Elizondo, David Grush, Jake Barber, not to mention Admiral Gallaudet, Carl Nell. I mean, my God, man, I could go on for another 10 minutes with names. Now there's some there's some disinformation agents that were, grifting. None of the people I named, but you have your Corey Goods and your Jason Sands and these people like that who are trying to hamstring the movement with their BS. But 30 years and we're still at this point. It's like we can't get past this. We get up to the line and we can't cross the finish line. So everybody watching this video, please go get the book, read the book, get in touch with the New Paradigm Institute or any of these organizations that are pushing disclosure, any of these grassroots groups who are forcing Congress to really look at this and expose it for what it is. Hopefully Trump does it. Supposedly he's supposed to, I don't know. I've heard rumblings about the JFK and I've heard rumblings about drones and the UAPs, and all we can do is hope, but really, how much faith can you put in them? And then here's the other thing. Most of the public, they don't trust the government anyway. So if the government comes out and says, hey, these things are real, how many people are really going to believe that? We're still not going to cross the line. It's going to have to be from the NHI themselves, revealing themselves, which I think that they have with the drones and orbs and shutting down military bases, because they got a serious issue with anything that has to do with nuclear weapons, EMPs, anything like that. The NHI don't like that, man. And they could wipe us out. Anytime you got aircraft that can fly through rock, man, and that can be in the depths of the ocean as far down as they are, and not have to deal with any getting crushed from the pressure of the water, and then to ascend up the water shooting at hundreds of miles an hour, and then just shoot right out the top of the water up through the sky into space and not suffer any kind of physical consequences, I would have to say that they could wipe us out if they wanted to. Just my opinion. So I hope you like the show today. Philip Corso, man. A little history lesson in the UFO disclosure, saga. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe. It's been fun. I love you guys. Thank you to all the new viewers and subscribers. And until next time.